Before this video starts, I'd just like to say that this footage includes a boarding and spawn killing of vast amounts of enemy helicopters, and for anyone who is bothered by that, I'd just like to say that I do not care one single bit. The Stormer HMV used to be the British top tier anti-aircraft system, which has a reputation of being rather underwhelming. Armed with the Starstreak high velocity missile, the Stormer relies on a direct impact to kill its opponents, whereas the new British ADATs and the Soviet Tunguska both have proximity fused missiles. This has made the Stormer rather hard to use, especially against the supersonic jets that populate top tier. So is this just another case of Britain suffers, or is the Stormer actually a diamond in the rough? Alright lads, today I'm going to be talking about the performance, weapons and playstyle of the Stormer HVM. Starting as always with the basics, this vehicle is a rank 6 battle rating 9.7 anti-aircraft vehicle located in the British Tech Tree. Being a rank 6 Tech Tree vehicle, it will come stock and will have to be upgraded to unlock its full potential. It will also only be effective at researching other vehicles between the ranks of 5 and 7, and for the Brits, this ranges from the late Centurions right up to the modern main battle tanks. To unlock this tank, you will have to grind out 390,000 research points before purchasing the tank for a cost of 1,020,000 Silver Lions. After this, you'll then have to add the tank to your lineup for the cost of 290,000 Silver Lions. You can then additionally purchase the Expert and Ace qualifications for the vehicle, costing 1,020,000 Silver Lions and 2,100 Golden Eagles respectively. For a top tier vehicle, the Stormer has a surprisingly low repair cost of 6,500 Silver Lions. This is actually pretty good, especially considering most other British vehicles require you to take out a bloody mortgage to play them without making a loss. Going on to the rewards, and the vehicle has a base RP modifier of 2.26, which gives you an RP modifier of 226% with a free-to-play account and 452% with a premium account. Your base Silver Line modifier of 1.4 is pretty high, but not the best. You can expect a 140% Silver Line modifier with a free-to-play account and 210% with a premium account. Looking at customization, and we have several camouflages available to purchase, including woodland, desert and winter camouflage schemes. Like usual, we'll start with an overview of the vehicle, followed by some live commentary, and finally ending with a conclusion. Starting with the engine and performance, and the Stormer is powered by a traditional diesel engine producing 250 horsepower. Combined with the vehicle's weight of 13.5 tons, the engine gives you a power to weight ratio of 18.5 horsepower per ton. This power to weight ratio is lower than both the Tunguska and the ADATs, meaning the vehicle does feel slightly more sluggish in comparison. Moving on to the transmission, and the Stormer is able to reach a top speed of 80 km per hour in both forwards and reverse. This is actually pretty good, but due to the low power to weight ratio, you won't really achieve this top speed in battle, especially if it's a predominantly sand or snow map. Being a NATO vehicle, the tank is capable of neutral steering, meaning it can turn on the spot. This gives you pretty decent manoeuvrability and is handy on urban maps. Overall, the mobility of the Stormer HVM is pretty good for an anti-aircraft vehicle. While it is nowhere near as mobile as the main battle tanks it will be going up against, the Stormer obviously wasn't designed to compete with them. The vehicle is a dedicated anti-aircraft vehicle, and most of the time, planes and helicopters will come to you. While mobility is important for a top tier anti-aircraft vehicle, the Stormer is still more than capable of getting around the battlefield in good time. Moving on to the armour and survivability, and the first thing to mention is that this tank only has a crew of 3 men, giving it pretty poor survivability if the round actually penetrates your armour, and pretty much every round fired at you will penetrate, as the Stormer has no sort of composite or explosive reactive armour. In fact, you don't even have steel armour, as the majority of this tank is made of aluminium. This makes you very delicate, and vulnerable to pretty much everything apart from 50 caliber machine guns. Your missile launchers on the top of the vehicle are also classed as an ammo rack, and as you could tell, there is no armour protecting these missiles. This means anything larger than a rifle caliber machine gun, or even a near miss from an incoming artillery shell, will be able to detonate your missiles, instantly killing your tank. This may be the most pointless segment of any of my reviews ever done, but what the hell, we'll be reviewing the Stormer's arm using the 3BM42 Manga round as fired by the T-80U. Starting with the lower plate, and you have an incredible 13mm of armour, truly the best of British engineering. Moving to the upper plate, and you get an astounding 31mm of armour. If we turn the camera to the side of the hull, we have between 8 and 10mm of armour. Impressive, I know guys. And finally, the rear of the hull provides just 6mm of protection. All the memeing aside, the armour protection of this tank was always going to be terrible. It wasn't designed to be a frontline fighting vehicle, and it shouldn't be played like one. You shouldn't be positioning yourself in harm's way in this vehicle. Do what us British did in the phony war, find a nice secluded spot, and let everyone else fight for a while. Alright, moving on to the weapons and ammunition, and the Stormer is armed with the Starstreak missile system. This system has 8 launch tubes with a total of 16 rounds carried. This means you can fire all the rounds in the tubes and then fully reload. You also have pretty good vertical guidance characteristics, with 60 degrees of gun elevation and 10 degrees of gun depression. Taking a quick look at the reloading skill under the loader section, and you can see that we have a base reload time of 1.3 seconds, and with an ace crew, that drops down to 1 second. I wouldn't worry about this skill, as the difference between 1.3 seconds and 1 second is barely noticeable in game. Moving on to the targeting skill under the gunner section, and we can see that you have a base turret rotation speed of 49 degrees per second, which rises to 70 degrees per second with an ace crew. We next move to the modifications, and I want to point out, this tank gets access to a 3rd generation thermal imager for the gunner sight. You also get a nice wider field of view in the gunner sight, as well as a base 10x zoom and an optional 40x zoom, making it very easy to target distant helicopters. Moving on to the ammunition, and we only have 1 round available. This is the Starstreak high velocity missile. This missile differs from other anti-aircraft weapons, as it relies on kinetic energy rods to hit a target and then destroy it from sheer impact, rather than the conventional proximity fused warhead. This has several positives and negatives. Lacking a proxy warhead means you will have to achieve a direct hit on an enemy. This is actually pretty doable against helicopters, but against supersonic jets, it becomes much more difficult. The positive is that the missile is fast. This essentially gives enemy helicopters no time to react, as the time from launch to impact is generally under 5 seconds. As you have probably gathered from the background footage, the Starstreaks excel in terminating helicopter scum. There is, however, a hidden secret mode for these missiles. This is due to the missiles having 2 stages. From the launch tube out to around 600 meters, they act as a large high explosive missile. After 600 meters, the kinetic energy penetrators separate from the missile. Basically, if you hit an enemy tank at close range, the missile acts as a large bomb. Meaning if you can hit underneath an enemy vehicle, it will destroy the ammo rack, killing the tank. And if you hit the upper hull, you will more than likely destroy the gun. It can be used in the same way the old HVM rounds were used on Soviet main battle tanks, hitting the awkward parts of the turret roof and then killing the crew inside. While this is a little bit of a meme, it can actually be relied on pretty easily. Obviously, I'm not saying you should rush tanks and try to kill them with these missiles, but if you don't have the option to run away, a single well-placed missile can one-shot even the heaviest Soviet tanks. Apart from the Starstreaks, the Stormer has no backup weaponry. You don't even get a machine gun. This isn't a major issue, as you are a rather small target, and you can rely on your stealthiness to keep you out of trouble. Overall, the Starstreaks are excellent at dealing with enemy helicopters, and actually pretty decent at killing ground targets at close range. While I would love to have some cannons like the Tunguska, the Stormer is still an incredibly powerful little vehicle. To conclude, I think that the Stormer is one of the best anti-aircraft vehicles in the game. It is seriously overlooked in War Thunder. It has insane missiles that are arguably better than the VT-1s found on the Flarak Rad. Their high top speed gives helicopters no time to react. A few seconds after launch, you cause a Soviet main to moan in chat. It is also pretty decent against ground vehicles if it needs to be. While you shouldn't look for these types of engagements, if forced upon you, you can ruin a main battle tank's day. If you want the newer British ADATs, you'll have to grind out the Stormer anyway, so whether this vehicle is worth grinding is redundant. But on your way to the ADATs, don't overlook this little British vehicle. It really is worth playing for a bit. It offers you a unique anti-helicopter system that truly does excel in what it's designed for. It is important to remember that this is just my opinion. What do you guys think of this British nail launcher? If you have any questions, criticism, positive or negative, or would even like to request a review, then please feel free to leave a comment below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If I did my job correctly, hopefully you should have learned something new about this vehicle. If you do enjoy these sorts of videos, please do consider leaving a like and subscribing. But more importantly lads, I hope you have a great day and thank you very much for watching.